Second question I think we have to ask ourselves from this parable is this: who's on your lost list and what are you doing about it? Who is on your lost list? If it was important to Jesus, shouldn't it be important to us? Shouldn't you have a lost sheep on your list that you are praying for, that you're witnessing to, that you're inviting to church, that you're searching for? We can't be satisfied that we are in and others we know are not in, because hell is too hot and eternity is too long for us not to care about those God has placed around us who are lost without Christ. We can't just be happy with the ones we have. We say it at this church. We're city focused. We're not about filling a building. We're about reaching a city with the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're not just counting how many people are here. We're counting how many people are not here this morning and need Jesus. I was pastoring my first church. I've told you the story before. I'll tell it again, but I was pastoring my first church, and we'd gone out to eat with some church members of ours. Their kids were older and didn't go with us, but us, the two couples, we went out to eat, and we brought our girls. Michaela was maybe 4 at the time, and Savannah had been 4 years older than that. And after we gone to eat, we went to Home Depot. And when we got to Home Depot, the two ladies were going to go look at whatever women look at in Home Depot, and the men were going to look at chainsaws. So, because that's what you do, you go look at power tools. And Gerald and I, we kind of said, hey, we're going to go look at power tools, chainsaws. We're going to make man noises over here and grunt a lot, and y'all go do your thing. And so we headed to power tool aisle. I didn't know it. I didn't know it till later on. But Sherry had called after me and said, basically, Michaela wants to go with you. You're responsible for Michaela. But I didn't hear it because I was going to look at chainsaws. So we're in the chainsaw section, making bodily noises, what men do in chainsaw sections, and we're looking, and I hear an announcement come over Home Depot, and you don't pay attention to that kind of thing, and it sounded like this, wah, 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 Charlie Brown's teacher, and so nobody's paying attention to that, and it came on again, and it was kind of like, wah, wah, girl, wah, 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 front, wah, 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 didn't pay attention. 5 minutes later, it came on again, and I heard every word this time. It said, "Will the parents of the girl in the watermelon dress please come to the front? We have your child." And in that moment, my subconscious turned loose on me. And it said, I've been trying to tell you, I have been trying to tell you. Your wife told you to watch your youngest child. She yelled that at you on the way out. And it took about a second. And Gerald looked at me and he's like, "Was it Michaela?" And I'm like, "Yes." And I took off running as fast as I could to the front with my life flashing before my eyes as I went. I got to the front, and Michaela was standing there with a Home Depot employee. I looked at her, and I felt so sorry for her. I looked to my left, and Sherry had heard the announcement the third time, and she's running toward the front. And I looked at Sherry, and I felt sorry for me. We got to Michaela. The minute she saw Sherry, big old tears started streaming down her face. And I was like, "Child, stop. Every tear's a nail in my coffin. Stop." We got to Michaela. Sherry's like, "I told you." I said, "Hey, calm down. We have another child. She's older. You know, she's had diapers. She's fine. 2 was too many anyway. We got 1. 1 is safe and in the fold. Let's not get stressed out over 1 lost child." You think I said that? No. No, I did not. I did not. I had 1 safe. But in that moment, I only cared about the 1 that was lost. Who's on your lost list? Like, it's great that you're saved and you're going to heaven. It's great that there's some around you who are saved and going to heaven. Hey, it may be your whole family is in and saved and going to heaven, but there are people around you that God has placed in your life that should be on your lost list, and you should be doing something about it. There are people in your life that are far from God. There are people in your life whose life is falling apart. There are people in your life who are out of church or chained by sin. What are you doing about it? How are you reaching out to them? How are you living as an example to them? How are you praying for them and inviting them to church? Listen, I'm going to tell you, your value of their soul will determine the passion of your pursuit of their soul. Who's on your lost list? What are you doing about it? And then I read this parable and I have to ask this third question. And that is this: does a soul saved excite me, excite you? Look at the excitement of one sinner coming to Christ. Here's what he said. He said, there is more joy in heaven. The angels, God, the saints. How can we be ho-hum about a soul that was once headed to hell and is now saved and on the way to heaven? Listen, there's a reason we baptize the way we do. There's a reason we turn it into a celebration, because nothing, hear me this morning, church, nothing should bring more joy to a Christian's life than a life changed by the power of the gospel, than eternity changed by the power of the gospel. There should be nothing in our lives that brings more joy than seeing a soul that once was lost and now is